This is the Mozhan. I think Andreas is here with us. Yeah, yesterday we had our first Mozhan teaching. It was very, very interesting. So yeah, so I don't know if Andreas is with us, and we can start with the Mozhan.
Thank you, Stefania. Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever. And
your voice is low, but I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's just me or...
No, the voice is low.
Is it better now? Better now?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So yes, we actually had our first Mozhan training last night. And so I think it was a good start, and we had just time to get a glimpse or a short overview of what the teachings or the trainings are going to be all about. And so I would like to just invite you to do basically a short exercise. If you can, you should stand up right now. And so everything in front of you is basically, you imagine yourself to be a standing mirror. And what you see in front of you is basically part of what is reflected in the first 180 degrees of your body, so your front side of the body. And so then you try to shortly look back behind you to see the environment, and then you try to reflect again basically what is your back seeing into yourself. So because you are the mirror, so you basically reflect what is looking inside of you. So you have like a A side and a B side, or vice versa. One in front of you and one behind you. If you do that in nature, it is more impressive than just inside. And now we switch 90 degrees, and basically we do the same, but just now we look from the shoulders, the left shoulders, until to the middle of your head is one side, and the right shoulder until the middle of your head is the other mirror. So basically we have a mirror that our shoulder is somehow growing out of. Now, if you imagine, you can do this reflective work basically to become more aware of the fields around you. You need to get some orientation. And either you look everything together, you try to merge all the sensations that comes from your body or from outside into one experience, or you try to see if there is maybe something changing. So another reflection would be, you basically have your legs and the feels of your legs, and then from the legs, basically from the hips to the tip of your head. And the more you can basically focus to that field, and the more you can calm down in the mental way and also in the physical way through the breathing, you can see that through doing nothing, there is something going on that you are part of. You can also experiment with eyes open or eyes closed, or half open, half closed. Okay, thank you. So now, can you, okay, I should speak a bit louder. Is that good enough now?
It's good. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you, Rick. So if this exercise is too big for the first, it is a bit more, it's larger than the next one we do. So I want you to sit comfortably, but if you can, also in a straight upwards position with your back. So we start to rub our hands. We stretch them out and then we rub them slowly. So we do a bit more force in it, so we press them a bit harder, so it's really a certain heat coming from the friction. And then we relax again. And so we just do one clap. And now I want you to basically focus your whole experience of all your sensations, how you are connected to the environment. All your focus is between your hands. Try not to touch them. If you will, you can play like making a snowball, if there is still snow in Canada. And now just observe what's going on. And record that experience as something that is happening to you because you are basically doing it. And if not it's you doing it, then it's someone doing it for you, through you. So you see that there is some sort of tension, attraction, repel, or just magnetical and gravitational forces going between the plus and the minus. The more empty your stomach actually is, the more clear will be the intense of emotion that you can feel in this state. So the size of the horizon between your hands, you just let it happen. Don't force it. Gain joy and also confidence through the letting go, or just be there. So if you now know through the experience, through the application of the knowledge, that you are basically part of those two forces that inhibits in all creation, it's up to you how many doors you open of that box to literally free yourself from the perception of life through the matter eyes. If you can start to feel that this environment we are living in is giving us even more than we see, than we hear, or than we can touch or smell, we can feel more at home. So this environment between your hands is protected through your hands by you, through the intention of letting creation unpack itself in the fields that you hold. So we slowly start again to move our fingers. Now we touch them together, the two hand sides. So those fields just got integrated because there is no space gap between your hands left. And with the intention of a heartfelt thank you, you express your gratitude to just have witnessed what is hidden for still too many people on this planet. So thank you very much for being with us here and going through the process that we are all part of. And in so many ways, the Mozhan teaching we started yesterday is about becoming or being the mirror, and therefore being also able to use the mirror as a device. And if we name that as a portal, can I just share my screen just right now? The video, I mean.
There, you should be able to start your video now.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if the mirror is also a portal, if we go through the portal, we basically arrive somewhere else, and this elseness is just that difference between the known and the unknown in so many ways. And to basically get to know and apply the knowledge, and therefore then be able to experience also the truth and the benefit of maybe less matter, is what we would like to bring you closer to, that you get comfortable with, to be in a state, if it's not here on the planet, than it is in space. And if you know what you're doing here, then you're basically able sooner or later to travel through the both of the worlds. So for that we created a certain orientation, and that orientation is in the very old sense of a way like a map. So we arrive through this portal in a certain new environment. And there are two ways basically where we invite you to enter this land of creation. Either you go through the portal with the teachings, or you basically come from the top, so you fall into this land, into this world. And this is when you basically have a dream state where you literally fall out of the sky. Might have happened to many already. So if not, this is not the case. There is on this landscape, there are many animals actually living there, and so they are joining us to find together, or to basically make world peace in a way through the understanding of the knowledge that is intention of sooner or later a way of balance. And so we all see that through ways of basically falling in love, there is always a way of balance coming into your life. And so this environment, I try to recreate it in a very basic way here. We'll have different states of fields, or different fields to explore, and through the going through, or the walk through, or basically the concept behind this map is a play. It's like a game. So you can go through it over and over, and so game over is decided by you and not by the understanding of yourself. So we will have, in the next session, we will start on the very left side with the situation that we are part of a crew of a ship, and so then we will get planked from that ship because we did something that was not pleasant to someone, or maybe to yourself, and so basically we are thrown in the wide open deep ocean, and so we have to figure out how we can survive, or how we can go on from there. So either you enter the game through the dream state, and this might happen to you by accident. So when you next become aware that you got visited by an animal, maybe you come back on Monday at 6, we can talk about it. And if you have any joy to find in a playful way of application of the knowledge, and that is so vast that it's quite easy to understand that we can have the feeling of being lost. If it's not in the ocean, it can be also lost in the knowledge, and we try to basically give you many tools to make you able to basically build your own landscape, which is part of your inner self. And so this is maybe not a short, but it was a medium introduction of what we were doing on the yesterday, so giving an overview. And if we put that in a bit more beautiful way, this is the map. You saw that already in the introduction video for the Mozhan training program. And so this will be the gathering place, the point of arrival in many directions. So we basically can catch up, or catch you up from where you start. And as I already mentioned, there are also many different aspects of cultures and time frames of knowledge that will find into this landscape. And one of it is that we will have an ambassador of the animal kingdom every single week, at least for 1 year. And so I would like to share with you the ambassador from yesterday that is or was the number one, and that is the eagle. So bear with me, it will be a short story, a short lesson that the eagle is sharing with us. Eagle, fly high, touch Great Spirit. Share your medicine, touch me, honor me, so that I may know you too. Eagle is the representation of spirit. Eagle medicine is the power of the Great Spirit, the connection to the divine. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit and yet remain connected and balanced within the realm of earth. Eagle soars and is quick to observe expansiveness within the overall pattern of life. From the heights of the clouds, eagle is close to the heavens where the Great Spirit dwells. The feathers of eagle are considered to be the most sacred of healing tools. They have been used for centuries by shamans to cleanse the auras of patients coming to them for healing. Within the belief systems of Native American tribes, eagle represents a state of grace achieved through hard work, understanding, and the completion of the tests of initiation, which result in the taking of one's personal power. It is only through the trial of experiencing the lows in life as well as the highs, and through the trials of trusting one's connection to the Great Spirit, that the right to use the essence of eagle medicine is earned. So today we have connection with the eagle, which is reminding you to take heart and gather your courage, for the universe is presenting you with an opportunity to soar above the mundane levels of your life. The power of recognizing this opportunity may come in the form of a spiritual test. In being astute, you may recognize the places within your soul, personality, emotions, or psyche that need bolstering or refinement. By looking at the overall tapestry, eagle teaches you to broaden your sense of self beyond the horizon of what is presently visible. In learning to fiercely attack your personal fear of the unknown, the wings of your soul will be supported by the ever-present breezes, which are the breaths of the Great Spirit. Feed your body, but more importantly, feed your soul. Within the realm of Mother Earth and Father Sky, the dance that leads to flight involves the conquering of fear and the willingness to join in the adventure that you are co-creating with the divine. So eagle soars for all of us today, and he's bringing us to you the notice to reconnect with the element of air. Air is the mental plane, and in this instance it is of the higher mind. Wisdom comes in many strange and curious forms and is always related to the creative force of the Great Spirit. If you have been walking in the shadows of former realities, eagle brings illumination. Eagle teaches you to look higher and to touch Grandfather Sun with your heart, to love the shadow as well as the light. See the beauty in both, and you will take flight like the eagle. Eagle medicine is the gift we give ourselves to remind us of the freedom of the skies. Eagle asks you to give yourselves permission to legalize freedom and to follow the joy your heart desires. So, and for all those who did not have listened yet, the eagle can insist, as every animal can. So if we have the contrary understanding of eagle, we might have forgotten the power and the connectedness to the Great Spirit. You may have failed to recognize the light that is always available for those who seek illumination. Heal your broken wings with love. Loving yourself as you are loved by the Great Spirit is the lesson which the contrary eagle brings. On some level, eagle is telling you to seek higher ground on which to build your nest. The nest is the home of the heart and cannot remain in a swamp. If your nest is in a swamp, this may be connected to your belief that your wings are clipped by an impossibility in your present status. Eagle's nest is high in the mountains, where the air is clean and the movement free. It may be your time for a vision quest so that you can commune with the Great Spirit. Fasting and also praying will surely bring an answer. Seek lofty ideals and illumination will be close at hand. So thank you for listening to the knowledge and the wisdom from our fellow eagle. And so we will discover many more teachings and insights from our maybe closest neighbors that we have been denying for so long time. And it's in the whole process no surprise that we basically share the same goal. So the animals are also here to live in a state of peace. And the more we can basically work with them and learn also from them, just in a different way, maybe in a silent way, there is so much more to integrate and then create from anew as a collective of a group. So it's not about only mankind, but it's about whole life on this planet. And so I would like to close with another short video, and this is just one example that I was talking about, and let the birds speak from themselves.
That's a bird. That looked like a bird. Something big in the middle of the bird.
So maybe there is greater beauty in the way we perceive beauty by giving ourselves up to be part of a collective, to create something that is bigger than us. And yet in so many ways very close or the same. So how could these starling birds here create this reflection of themselves as a field, while there is no chatter or no phone calls or no Wi-Fi, whatever, but they are doing it, and so I haven't seen man doing that, at least not doing it in the air. So I think these are advanced understandings they are at least worth to observe a little bit longer and apply that understanding then through the integration into your life or into you as the creation that you experience every day.
That's a bird. That looked like a bird. into bigger than a little bit.
That shape in the beginning is also quite interesting, isn't it? So, yeah, I think that's a good as a starter for next Monday. And here is again the time and coordination to join us and get more into the application of the knowledge. Is there any question or a comment?
Remind our attendees they can put up their virtual hands if you want to ask a question at this point. Andreas, I had a question. You mentioned the importance of, well, fasting, you mentioned once, and also of emptying the stomach, creating that voidness, let's say. Could you talk about that a bit? What is the idea there?
Okay, so let's look at this at another example. So if we have a car, and as long as you're running with the car or basically driving with the car, so everything that the engine and everything in the insides of in the guts of the car is doing, so that's some sort of energy transformation or whatever. It's just that, you know, it's work that has been done. So, and through all the physical, we know that there is an emotional attachment, and then is also, you know, like a mental, you know, how to say, occupation. So it actually just costs you energy. So the more empty you are, you basically connect with that is working, you know, that work labor that is basically unemployed when the car is resting in the garage. Or if you start to basically eat less or basically fast for a certain amount of time, that energy, that employment personnel basically got to be dismissed. And so, you know, you learn a very good lesson in how much you really need to consume in the physical way. So the more you basically go into the soul perspective, everything that holds you back in the matter through whatever irritation, be it food and also the breathing in some ways is that, but we can handle that quite good through the breathing. But if you know, you have to go past the state of the emotional hunger. So, you know, when you basically can figure out how you can solve the issue or that illusion basically that you become hungry by doing nothing, so that's one goal to aim. So the less full or the more empty you basically are, the more receptive you will become. So you're literally more gravitating to, you know, some intake, and so you can use this gravitational momentum or energy to basically, you know, you can transform it. Was that something like an answer?
Yes, thank you. In the analogy to the car, I think about the Formula One racing or other forms of racing where they do what's called time trials, a couple of laps to set your best time, so you have a position in in the race. And I was just noting a few days ago that what they do is they only have enough fuel for that 1 or 2 laps to do their time trial, personal laps by themselves out on the track. And they only carry enough fuel for those couple of laps. So that's kind of the same idea as for best performance. You just carry with you what you need for that time interval, basically. And you always know that somehow you'll get fed after the end of this interval.
Yeah, for us is really to get to know yourself better in that way, that you really know how you get fed. You know, we let us guide around by so many beautiful, sweet, sour, beautiful meals and creations of food, and yet when we look here in this part of the land, we have like 30% of food waste. So this is just incredible for such a developed country that we have here. So we throw at least 1/3 of that we think we need to consume away. So that tells us quite the story for the society. And yet if we basically manage to see that we are a reflection of the totality of the society, at least regional or depending where you live, so it might occur to you that you can see that food waste is also happening in your behavior. So when you basically know that maybe you throw also too much away, then maybe it is helpful to start, get a shorter grocery list and get more careful with you, because always when you're driving, the car loses its resale price, the value. So keep that in mind. The more you basically keep yourself running, the more you might not be ready to run, like 300,000 kilometers without stop. So I think the analogy you mentioned with the Formula One, it's not only that we don't need that much, but basically more to discover what we already contain or are part of. And from there is a lot of knowledge that had been fed to all of us through many stories, be it in history or science or religion and many other ways. So we have to dig ourselves out of this, and we only can remember through the emotional connection that is beneficial to all of us, no matter what. So we try to focus on that and basically make you be more aware of your craft that you are driving, or basically putting into the garage at your will. So.
Very good. Also, the source of the fuel supplies that we use for our energy, both in our vehicles and in our own personal physicality. And there's more of an emphasis on that now as we moved away from fossil fuels in terms of oil and gasoline and so on for vehicles. In race cars, for example, are now moving to electric or hybrid, something in between. And that transition is happening in the next few years, and we're moving totally away from what's called the internal combustion engine into something different as electric or a hybrid kind of situation. That's something in between. It's interesting, and also with people's food intake is also going on in the same way, moving away from the heavy meat-based diet into these alternate meats that they have now, for example, that are actually plant-based, but gives you the same protein and so on. And it's interesting transition as we move closer to working from the fields directly rather than through the intermediary of these heavy fuels that we rely on. Sometimes a heavy meal, feels so satisfying, except afterwards it can be heavy. It can be the results can affect our ability to lighten up and work with more subtle fields, I think.
Kesh tried to lead us into this direction. I think it's 1 or 2 years ago. So, when you basically now try to imagine your favorite food, that you just put it in your mouth. So you have it in your hand and then you are just about to take a bite. So if you really are able to basically give yourself that experience just through the imagination, let's say you eat that straight 15 minutes as you would do it in real life, I'm pretty sure that there will be at least an adventure on an emotional side for you. But maybe also we all know that is no secret anymore, and the moment we think that on something delicious, we usually get watery mouths. So if this is just the starting point of like an expedition where we can discover ourselves, that we can literally create water ourselves. We are making the water, and we don't need to go to universities to find that out. We just need to think on something delicious. So so this confidence has no value in regard to what is valued in today's heads, at least. But for your body and for your heart, water is definitely something to work with. So, switching from one way of perspective thinking, like how much can you go really without consumption? That's quite the ride, and so we sooner or later get all in these situations. For example, if you break the nose, so I broke my nose by myself when I was like 18. It was like a high jump situation, the last 5 minutes of sport education in my life in school. So I was doing the best jump maybe in my life, but the landing was also very tight. So my knee hit myself in the face, and I broke my nose. So why did I want to say that? Yeah, so after the 2 weeks afterwards, I could eat or drink. It was just a different feeling of what you basically put through your mouth and everything else. So there was no taste. There was a little bit of sweet and salt that you could barely taste. But so everything related to food or consumption in this regard was very boring. So this is not an invitation to break your nose, deliberately, but so there are many ways of different perspective that we can only take in or take over when we basically leave other seats of perception. And so as long we keep turning the wheels in the same way, in the same speed, there will be not much of a change. So you need to know how you feel when the wheel seems to be still, and how it is on speeds that you haven't imagined yet. So it's always a brighter spectrum going to open the more we use actually words for it.
Hello?
Yes, Dean, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to weigh in on this right here, because I was hit by a car a couple of years ago, almost killed myself. And I was in a crosswalk. I was the pedestrian. Well, I've been doing the Cup of Life, and this ties in with what's being spoken, because in that time of recovery, and I am recovered, I have taken off weight-wise about 70 pounds. And through the teachings and following what I have learned in the Knowledge Seekers and the work, exercise, etc., watching and following what has just been spoken, my health has been brought to a place that is 40 years younger than I was before. And what has blown me away in the process is watching the skin be returned to 30 years younger on my chest and all over. And any place that there's just a little bit left of the fat that was from my last life before the Cup of Life, and getting rid of the toxins that were in, and the understanding of how the transmutation of the cells works and the energies. I really have been born again through the process, literally, physically. I'm amazed. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how much do I need to eat, and thanks for the teaching. That's all I had to say.
Wow, Dean, that's terrific. Thank you very much for that.
Dear Rick, dear Andreas, can I say something? Hello?
Please speak freely.
Oh, thank you, my dear Andreas. I want to share what you said about the fasting. You know, it is an ancient culture that was still within us, to be a perspective and to create the goodness of a giver, you know. And it is always when we eat, the body gets distracted in a way. So they're distracted, and they just diverge and try to solve situations like all the protein is making, and all the cells are engaged. So there is the ancient way, culture of love, and we say culture of love, and very ancient, very, very ancient. And this is the way to understand how we can give the most beautiful way. So as socially, humanity has evolution in a way, by feeding and by and only understood the hunger is the most important thing. But as we say, the shine of the earth and the shine of the moon gives the star, gives a sunshine. You know, this is an interaction. So here we have to, in the fasting system, what is happening is we understood, because the society has broken into different rich, poor, in the middle, and out of the middle. But then this, well, I will say exercise, practice of this culture, you can understand the way how to give. You know, you can observe with your eyes things transmuted in front of you as you have exercised. That is very beautiful about fasting, if anyone can. And of course, if the matter is more dense, then we have to understand that we have to depend on more diluted form of well, if you say liquid form of fluid form of food, like that. So in a way, when we are growing, there is an incident. Many incidents were there when we are all trapped in this chaos. Still, in a way, when I was like, I became mother of two, and it was like a chaos. And then suddenly, I felt sick, like a viral fever was going on, and it was so intense that it was not typhoid, it was not jaundice, it was nothing like that. But I refused to go to the doctor. What happened is there's a fever every day, but I cannot eat, but I can only taste the salt, and I only drink Coca-Cola at that time. For 2 months, I have been on Coca-Cola and salt. There's a mixed salt, and my skin was just like the snake. The snake give out the skin. My skin was like that. It's just dropping out. And then after 2 months, I was not able to eat. As like my body says, no, stop. You don't have to do that again. This is so much distraction you are in. And then the body automatically in a position and stop the voluntary, a kind of voluntary exercise of food, what we do. So after that, I get more realized in the enlightenment position and more understand to understand uh, to have an observation of the perspectives of others too, kind of that. So that is a way sometimes body automatically we say that is sickness, but it is doing the fasting on its own way. Don't eat anything, stop it like that. So, and as you have shown the video of the birds, these are a kind of birds. They they move each other with each other in a very vibrant and in a very analytical way that they understand the condition to be the bigger the sustainable thing you are. So they become like they form the form of a bigger bird and move like together in the ocean. Fish move like together, to form a bigger structure like the eagle, as you said. And as you said, the eagle, I I understand the way the eagle do, the highly spiritual way. And here in India, there is a culture, I always mention this. Well, it was not India, it was before that, that this eagle, there was this advanced civilization we all know, we are a part of it still. And we are now knowing these advanced technologies. There is a spaceship called is the name of this eagle. No, it's an enhanced way of an eagle, and it's called Garuda Vimana. And there is a shastra. There is a whole data on this Vimanika Shastra. They call this. They in the Vimanika Shastra there is a little wrong narrative about the fuel they used, anti-gravity and all. But that is, we know how this and this Garuda Vimana appears and disappears whenever it likes. So it is a huge Vimana, like taking the cosmos and all that is on her on the back, and just waving in the space of the beauty and totality like that, and appears when it's needed with all the awakened souls. So this eagle was compared. Well, I will not say compared. We can see the 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 wholeheartedness, the highly soulfulness of the eagle. Even we observe that by seeing it's very intentionally the eagle that is going away from you, coming towards you. That is so beautiful, so energetic. So because of this, the well, here in India says the gods and goddesses, they created this Vimana, the spaceship of a Garuda, like an eagle. That is the most authentic Vimana, well, I will say the spaceship of the technology that was advanced and that is there. Just we have to understand, as this is beautiful explanation, dear Andreas, about when you exercised. I have experienced of this before also. I was as I wanted to be. Here where I live, it's a very dry place. We always think about snow, about the ocean, about the rivers. And even I see documentaries related to that. And I feel that I am walking in the snow. Like when you were talking, when we are exercising, I was in the way to the moon. and all the stars are like, I'm walking, and the moon, in the moon, all the fragrant flowers were there. All the fragrance, most beautiful fragrance, white, and you can see, if you observe the colors also. And you are seeing the stars as homes, as bluish light, and somebody standing there and calling you, come on, come here, my dear, come here. There is the way, and there is the moon shining on the beautiful blue light on all of us, all the stars, and we can see, connect, and that is the night. You know, the beauty of the night is that. And so, well, we can say the gravity and the higher magnitude of the eagle, the gravity and the love of the moon, and the gravity of the love of all that is. So here we understood that when the intention is clear, I mean, when we say ethics are clear, then we can see in these exercises, in this emptiness of our all illusion is gone, then you can say even when I was ready to talk to you, I was trying to drink a sip of tea, but suddenly I canceled that, because I thought, if I drink the tea, I maybe sometimes it connects, sometimes it loses. I can lose some of the words I want to say to you. So I just stopped sipping the tea. Told my heart that after talking, I will talking to Andreas, sharing what I felt, I will drink the tea. So the emptiness of the belly works and upheaval or enhancement of the heart and soul. The understanding is more in the dynamic phase, I would say. And you have given this presentation very beautifully, my dear Andreas. Thank you for your hard work, and I will say beautiful work. And as we are going, we are transitioning towards, well, I will say the moonshine. Then the dimensions are clear. We are walking on the path of peace, and it is clear for all of us, and it must be like that. So enhancing more is so beautiful with your words. I understand when I was learning the Vaimanika Shastra in India, written by some scientists here in India, but they have manipulated that text also into elements of physical matter to create the anti-gravity position. But we know how plasma works. It doesn't take any time. There's no time in plasma dynamics like that. So here we can understand the energy of the eagle, the Garuda Vimana. So here I will say thank you again, my dear Andreas. Thank you for your presentation. Salam, namaste, Salut.
Thank you very much, Sveta.
Anybody else have any question or anything to share, my dear ones? Please do share.
Sveta, actually, I have a question.
Oh, yes, of course.
So we go back to the video. So you were saying that every single bird of these here, that they can imagine the bigger bird by themselves.
Yes.
So where did they go to school?
No, they don't go to school. This is so natural, my dear Andreas. That is what we are. That is what we are. As you have exercised us in that way, that you told us that you are a mirror. These birds are just exercising, they are self-practicing, or they are in this position to mirror themselves, to understand the situation, to cross the level, enhancement more, to be seen by another eagle, like an eagle. No? So this is a beautiful presentation, the video you have given. Yes, of course, every bird was a mirror of the other bird. Indeed. and this is not learned in school. So I was saying, yeah.
I just want to say a joke that only fish learn that in a school.
Yes.
You see a
yes.
similar behavior in the school of fish.
Yes, yes. Or when you go separate to this school of here in this what we have learned. I was a student of science, but I don't know in the botany classes, in the botany book, in the book of botany, there is always whether I was studying in India in the classes schools of in India. But the botany writer, the writer of the botany class, is always outsider from India. But he was explaining about the botany of the Himalayas, about the botany of where I live, and I couldn't understand how they can do that. We don't understand some orchids from Western countries or Europe. So this is what we couldn't understand. That every narrative, there is a one writer. Every narrative, there is a one historian. So this is what these words are free from. And beautiful indeed.